This is a challenge video, and the challenge I faced here was something I never knew existed until I embarked on my backpacking journey on Grand Island. I have hiked through countless places before, but never on an island where the only way out is by swimming and limited boat ride. And since I can't swim, I guess if something goes wrong, I will be here to become a part of island's wildlife. Joining me on this thrilling adventure are my fiance, a first-time backpacker who will curse me at least a dozen times during this trip for bringing her here, and my colleague, a first-time backpacker too, who will wonder if this was the worst decision he have ever made. But hey, what are friends and family for, right? So let's dive into one of the hardest and most rewarding backpacking trip of my life. Welcome to Grand Island. Let the suffering and excitement begin. Here is an overview of our trip. We planned this trip during the Labor Day weekend. Our journey began on day 1 from Fort Wayne, Indiana, with 6-hour drive to Aloha State Park near Mackinac Bridge, where we set up our camp at midnight. On day 2, despite planning to leave for Grand Island early at 7 am, we did not hit the road until 10 am, arriving at the island around 1 pm. That day, we hiked 10 grueling miles to North Light Beach, a trek that drained our energy and made this backpacking adventure feel like a true test of endurance. Day 3 started with 9 am departure from North Light Beach, pushing through another 7 miles to our next campsite near Little Dune campsite. Finally, on day 4, we completed our loop around Grand Island, returning to our starting point at noon. 4 days, 20 miles, and one unforgettable adventure. Our adventure began at 4 pm in Fort Wayne.
Hi. We've started our journey to Grand Islands. We've packed our bags and then we're going to our friend's house to pick him up and then stuff more into the bag. I don't know how I'm going to carry that much for 20 miles, but I'm excited. So our next destination is Aloha State Park. This is Monish. Monish, hi.
We had packed some homemade food and enjoyed it at a rest stop.
So this is our dinner. We didn't have enough spoons. We didn't have enough spoons, so we're eating with our hands. Yeah, going all natural. This is pulao and this is chicken curry. It's yum.
So we are the team of 4.
3, 4.
One is here ghost we cannot see. The journey to Grand Island ferry dock was a grueling 9-hour drive. So our goal was to cover as much distance as possible on day 1 for an early start the next morning. After 6 long hours on the road, we finally arrived at Aloha State Park around 11 pm. Michigan's Upper Peninsula has always fascinated me. It's where I saw the northern light for the first time. So naturally, I was hoping to catch a Milky Way and some stars. We ventured out and saw a faint glow of northern lights. But to this day, my fiance still does not believe it. Exhausted, we set up camp and crashed for the night.
So Welcome to our day 2 of our backpacking to Grand Island. So we had planned to go to Island at 6 a.m. but
Wake up at 7,
it is still
go around at 8.
9, so we are still here. So we have like 2.5 hour drive. Hopefully we can reach there and hike for 10 mile. Morning
Day 2 kicked off
breakfast
with a breakfast
by
prep
Chef
at the campground.
Giri. This is sausage, egg, rice from yesterday, which was yummy. Our tea.
With a long day ahead, we packed our backpacks and divided the weight. We planned to leave early, but between cooking and sorting our gears, we didn't hit the road until 10 a.m. The park was stunning, sitting right by the lake, but it was time to move. We crossed the iconic Mackinac Bridge, drove through Michigan's Upper Peninsula, passing by Lake Michigan and Lake Huron, before finally reaching to Grand Island Ferry dock across Lake Superior at 1 p.m. At Ferry dock, we did our final gear check. Being a Labor Day weekend, the place was packed and parking took forever. Many people visit Grand Island just for a day also, since the ferry ride is only 5 minutes and runs every 30 minutes until dusk. The round trip fare is around $23 per person. So once everything was set, we boarded the boat and officially stepped into the wild. Excitement level were high as we arrived at the visitor center. We did one last check before setting off on a 10-mile hike into the unknown for that day.
Let's see, we've started. So today's hike is 10 miles. We've started, what is the time?
140.
So it's 1:40 right now. Maybe we finish the hike in 6-7 hours. And we'll go camp at the camping site, which is like on top of the peninsula in front of this Lake Superior. I hope we can see northern lights too.
Little did we know what lay ahead. We began our hike on 20-mile loop trail, cutting through dense forest before reaching a path that hugged Lake Superior. From here, the lake stayed with us the entire way. Luckily, there was a mile marker, a small but life-saving morale boost.
Switch on the vlog. I will tell you. I will tell why 2 miles is very long, because you travel in car always.
Yeah.
You don't walk to work.
Every time exhaustion hit, we would say, just make it to next marker.
I'll see.
Mile by mile, we trucked forward, our backpacks way too heavy. Very poor
This is the road we
planning.
came from.
That's what I thought.
This is the road we
On the
are
top of
hiking
that,
to.
my fiance and my colleague had a worst backpack design possible. The struggle was real.
We are
We
dead.
stopped every mile just to breathe. With every painful step, our goal felt further away. But at least the view of Lake Superior was breathtaking. Whenever we paused, the pristine water kept our spirit up. Mile by mile, we reached mile 4.
We are
At mile 5, the elevation kicked in. From this point on, things got wilder. We had been warned about the black bear in this area. That definitely did not help the exhaustion. It took 5 grueling hours just to reach the 5-mile marker. And suddenly our first day goal felt way out of reach. The heavy backpack, slow pace, and a fading daylight added to the stress.
Almost dead. Yeah, I'm dead.
This one.
One step at a time, we pushed forward. 6 hours in, we finally reached a scenic viewpoint past mile 7 and stopped for the lunch. The rock formation and the lake superior's endless blue make it a perfect spot.
So this is our lunch for today. We are eating bulldog.
We cooked some noodles, rested, and braced ourselves for what was still ahead. After lunch, we kept
We walked 6
moving.
miles with load of 20.
We had used most of our water, but I thought there would be a stream along the trail. Oh, how wrong I was. We decided to push a mile
2
9
more miles to go. Then
before
we'll
looking
start
for a
first.
campsite. The trail followed a ridge at 800 feet, offering insane view of the lake. But as we reached mile 8, the sun started to set fast. Then the real problem hit. Our water was gone.
So what's morning cooking?
Lake Superior was right there, taunting us with its vast, endless blue. But there was no way down. Stiff cliff stood between us and the water. The thirst kicked in hard. Exhausted, thirsty,
2 more miles to
and
go.
running out of a daylight, we frantically searched for a campsite, but nothing. Every spot was either too exposed or too far from water. Another mile passed, and the panic set in. My fiancée had no energy left, and seeing her struggle made me panic even more. And when you panic, everything feels worse. The sound of crashing waves mocked my dry throat. Then my colleague spotted a narrow path leading down just after mile 10 marker. We followed it and boom! There was it. The beach. I was so relieved. I did not even record. First thing first, I pulled out my water filter and sucked. At that moment, I thought I could drink the entire lake Superior. We set up camp right on the sand, thinking this is perfect. But nature had other plans. Within 30 minutes, the sky turned pitch black. The thunderstorm rolled in fast, and there goes my dream of taking a picture of northern lights.
But then it started to storm. So there is like a big wind coming up, and then our tent flew away. So we have to shift our tent to in the middle of trees. So I think it's gonna be fine for now.
The storm raged on, but finally we had shelter. Finally we could catch a break. Finally. We prepped to sleep, and then
Hanging up for now.
something happened.
Welcome to day 3 of our backpacking to Grand Island. So we woke up at 7 a.m. and it's now I think 8 a.m. 8:33.
Good morning! Good morning from Lake Superior. So, today we woke up at around 8 a.m. Honestly, the day before was chaos. The 10 miles with the backpack felt so gruesome. And finally, yes, we reached the beach. We set up our tent, but yeah, our tent flew away because we had set up the tent in the sand, which was actually not a good idea. Okay, after that, what happened? Our air mattress gave up. And about morning, the mornings are always magical. We woke up to the view of Lake Superior. Somehow all the pains reset and you wake up thinking, yes, can you do it again? Of course, we will. And after waking up, we had our breakfast. It was the most luxurious breakfast ever. Avocado toast in the middle of nowhere. It was like a 5-star breakfast in wilderness.
Hey, this is our breakfast kind of near the beach.
I didn't put lemon, man.
And this is us enjoying breakfast in nature because we were bored having breakfast at home. Yeah, that's the whole point. We left the comfort of home, AC. We were nearly blown yesterday by the wind when we tried to camp in the beach. That was a stupid thing. Don't camp in the beach. Always find the woods. The trees are your friend. They'll help you. They'll not let you fly. They'll not let your tent fly away. And yes, we drove for around 8 hours. Hike for 8 hours. Hike for 8 hours to have this. Yeah. I want to ask, Monish, would you do this again?
Yes. Again and again.
Yeah, Roshan,
But
would you do
with
this
no
again?
water. Sure.
Yeah, me too. I would happily do this again with a better backpack, lesser miles to walk.
Then we thought about taking a dip in the lake, and we had like an icy plunge in Lake Superior. It was the most wonderful thing ever. The waves were like personal trainers. They were dragging us out, tossing us in, and then it was felt the most surreal experience ever. All our pain, all our inhibitions of coming and walking 10 miles, they all disappeared because of the view, because of the water. We lay down at the beach, took a plunge, and for about 1 hour we enjoyed the beach. It was the most wonderful experience ever. Now, after soaking in the sun, in the freezing water, we packed our bags, let the sore legs breathe. With a renewed energy, we said goodbye to the North Light Beach and set off for day 3, which was around 7 miles of hike to reach the next beach.
We're at mile 11, we have 6 more miles to go.
Today's hike was a little easier, probably because nothing could top the madness that was yesterday.
For today.
Now we have started our 6 miles hike, I think 7 miles hike. Today also we'll be staying at a beach. Hopefully we'll reach there by 6 p.m. Or we have to reach there by 6 p.m. So we can rest, have some food, have a swim.
Now, being an island, there wasn't much elevation gain, but that didn't mean the trail was friendly. Twists, turns, roots, rocks, and with a sore body and I don't know how many blisters that I had on my legs, it was really difficult. And around mile 11 though, we got to see one of the very jaw-dropping bird-eye view of Lake Superior. There was a lookout where we could see the endless blue of Lake Superior, the crashing waves, and the wind that could slap some sense into you. It reminded us how wild and beautiful this place really is, and how big and vast and how tiny we are. We soaked it all in, took some killer shots, and pushed forward. A few hours later, you know what came in? It came the favorite part of the day, lunch. Yes, you know, it's one of the best part because you get to eat and rest both. Maybe it's because the food is so rare out here, and maybe it's because you're forced to channel your inner wilderness chef to make something like out of magic because you don't have anything right here. But everything tastes like a 5-star Michelin in the middle of nowhere. And you know who was the cook for the day? Monish. Our friend Monish went full survival gourmet mode. He somehow hauled a whole broccoli, yes, a broccoli, through his hike because hell doesn't take a day off apparently.
Where's the broccoli? Where's the king? We bought some this adha kilo broccoli.
Along with that, he packed the ingredients for poha. Poha is kind of a South Asian dish that is made with flattened rice with veggies and little tempering, which is really delicious if you can have it or make it in the woods. We cooked the poha in batches. He got all the spices, the tempering you need for poha, and I helped Monish stir things up while Roshan, he was either trying to be helpful or auditioning for like the most confused kitchen assistant. Yeah, I have to question if he was really helpful. But yeah, he did help. Regardless, the lunch was a 10 on 10, probably the best meal of the entire trip, and we have to thank Monish for that because he packed up all the ingredients for that. But
So
that day
15
wasn't done. We
miles.
still have like 4
We
miles to go,
did 15
and we
mile
took
of
we took a lunch break at mile 14, and we dragged our full bellies back into the
we
trail.
have three-
I know,
three more
post lunch
miles
hiking is cruel. You just want to nap in the shade, but we were on a mission. We had to hit the beach before the sunset. no more setting up the tents in the dark like
So we are
lost
in 17th
hikers.
mile.
Yeah, that's
So
probably
our
not the best idea.
energy
Finally,
is
after
down.
mile 17, we made it just
It was
before
a
the
long
dusk.
hike. We decided to take only 6 mile hike, but we end up doing 8 mile hike. So our whole body is also started to ache. What do you have to say about your hike?
As we arrived to our next beach campsite, the view, yes, stunning.
I did
Like
17 miles.
no discount
So
on the
we
view.
finally reached.
We sipped some herbal tea by the water, walked along the peaceful shore, had some time to breathe, reflect, like put your foot in the water and grab some golden hour shots, enjoy the sunset. Yes, it was really wonderful. And with bellies full and happy heart, we called it a night, knowing our time on the island was nearing its end.
Good morning. This is the final day. I woke up to see the sunrise. It's cool.
The final day had arrived, and honestly, it was bittersweet. Grand Island had thrown every challenge at us, but also gifted us with an unforgettable memories. Still, it was time to move on. We woke up to a stunning sunrise over Lake Superior. The sky were finally clear. The wind had chilled out, and for the first time, I could finally fly my drone to take a bird eye view of the whole island without risking my drone to being launched into orbit. We cooked our last breakfast right by the lake, soaking in every golden rays like it was our farewell gift. Then came the usual drill: pack the bags, fold the tents, and say goodbye. But plot twist. Turns out we had accidentally camped in a protected vegetation zone. A ranger nearly handed us a ticket, and our final day almost ended us with a fine. Thankfully, we talked our way out. Pro tip: always check the map. Lesson learned.
So this will conclude our camping for day 3. This is the spot where we camped illegally.
With hearts racing and packs on, we hit the last leg of our hike. Mile
2 more miles
18,
to go.
mile 19,
10th.
and then
Mile 20, here we come.
Mile 20.
20 brutal, beautiful miles. Through storms, sore feet, wind blown tents, and mystery broccoli, we conquered it all.
The trail we went, and we hiked for like whole 20 miles, and we came that way with these two and me.
A few final steps brought us to the Grand Island ferry dock, and there it was, our ride back to the mainland and back to reality. We came, we saw, we struggled, but we made it. Challenge completed.
So let me first say how did I feel. So my whole plan was to come here, take some pictures, do some hiking, go to the further side of America and see some northern lights. So my plan was all gone. I could not see anything, but it was basically it was fun. It was fun. Why? Because I got to hike with my sweetheart for the first time for this long.
Roshan is already
She
tired.
was
I was
always,
nagging all along.
yeah, she was nagging.
My
and
bag.
It
my
was
leg,
fun.
my leg, my
First
bag.
day was fun, but that last 2 miles nearly cost
Near
our
death experience.
trip. But that after that we found pretty nice spot in beach, so we camped there. So that night was fun. Next day we took a bath in the Lake Superior. It was also pretty much fun. Yeah, it's all my experience. Now the mic will go to Miss Rishika Giri. Yeah, it's your turn now.
You asked me about the first day. It was a near-death experience. I
Hmm.
had a problem with my back. I had a problem with my hips. I had a problem with my shoulder. So I can't say I enjoyed the first day. Second day, he told me it was only a 6-mile hike, but I had to walk 8 miles. Thank you for the deception. Second day, I had blisters on my legs, so I couldn't even walk.
14
Back
miles.
without back. It was very terrible. But after a good sleep, it was okay. For now, I feel all good. So it was like everyday experience. So there was only one question I asked myself every day: will I do it again? Yes, of course. With a good backpack, lesser miles to walk, where I enjoy more walk. Okay. So definitely, we'll have more hiking experience soon.
So now the mic goes to Monish Gaikwad. Here you go,
First
man.
thing I would say is we started on Friday after work.
Yeah. Okay.
We reached the campsite and it was good over there. We got to see a lot of stars and I saw a shooting star and there was a slight bit of aurora there. And in the morning we had nice breakfast and came towards Grand Island on Saturday. Only thing we did mistake was we should have started early. We started at 1:40 and we hiked for 10 miles on that same day. And we reached our campsite at 9 p.m. We found a good spot for tent and I liked the spot. It was very close to the beach. But we couldn't have dinner unfortunately because of the rain. And we had to shift our campsite above the beach because of the wind. And then the next day after we woke up we had a good dive in the water. We recovered nicely and then due to our trip planner's deceptive methods we had to walk 8 miles instead of 6 miles on second day too.
What? Because of me?
It was not that relaxing day. And on next day on Sunday we cooked poha, which was
Where's
very
the
good.
broccoli?
It
Where's
was
the
fun
king?
too.
We bought.
We reached our campsite by 7 p.m. Unfortunately, we shouldn't have camped there. The next day we came to know about it.
We were
But,
about to get the ticket.
Yeah, we were about to get a ticket, but I saved him.
Yeah.
Overall, the trip was really good. Just few mistakes. Don't overpack your bags. Keep it light. Don't make big delicacies like poha with a lot of vegetables. And especially don't get broccolis too.